It's a shame that we went, I think it was a week or two ago, and you could not stand the smell down there on the dock.
Richard Porter isn't the only one who has been avoiding the Flint River after the sewage spill last month.
It was pretty much impossible to run a kayak business on any water that nobody wants to get in.
This is the reason Kayak Attack will no longer be opening a store in downtown Albany. A pump failure caused 90 gallons of sewage to spill into the Flint last month. Now the downtown economy is taking a hit as well.
One of your bodies of water that you rent on gets affected like that, then you have to convince everybody to switch maybe their normal routine of going on the Flint to come over to the Kitchafuni.
Kayak Attack had signed a lease on a downtown location. They planned to open a store location so they could sell t-shirts, gear, and smoothies. But that store won't be opening now.
Sewage spill definitely helped, kind of in the end really finalize that we didn't need to back out. Because we waited, almost 2 months after we could have backed out of the lease to hoping it would get ready.
Kayak Attack is doing all of its business at the Kinchafuni now. Owner Josh Lorber says they would love to open the store downtown one day, but it may just stay a dream of his for a little while longer.
It's hard to shake the public persuasion of it just being the nasty sewage river.
As for Richard Porter, he hopes the waste problem is fixed soon.
There were guests down there from out of town while we were down there complaining about it. And it was kind of embarrassing, to be honest with you.
$90,000 gallons of raw sewage spilled into the Flint River has bumped one company from moving into downtown Albany. But for Jeannie Yarger, owner of Flint River Outpost, the Flint River is essential for her business.
We rent canoes, kayaks, double kayaks. We offer guided tours, shuttle services.
Mostly on the Flint River, and she says the spill stunted business for a short time, but is now back at full speed.
We ran a group of 18 today, and we're planning on opening back up and running completely again.
The city is working to make sure the Flint won't have this issue again.
Inch by inch, making sure that this does not happen again.
Commissioner B.J. Fletcher is confident the spill will not have a negative impact on the progress of the downtown revitalization.
We are on the move. Everything that we are doing, we're doing it right.
Fletcher said it is disappointing that one business backed out and hopes they will reconsider.
I hate when somebody changes plans or something went wrong, but it is not going to stop the momentum of our downtown.
As for the spill and the business backing out, Fletcher still has high hopes for downtown.
But life goes on. Downtown is looking good.
Just like Yarger.
Definitely hoping to see more businesses come to downtown and more attractions, because when our boats come off of the river and they stop at downtown, it gives them more to enjoy.
After sewer water made its way into the Flint River Saturday, crews took less than 24 hours to get it to stop. Now the question is, what caused the spill?
What we're trying to do is eliminate that from happening further, and by hopefully getting all 4 pumps back online so that the station will be at full capacity, hopefully we'll eliminate any more spills down by Ray Charles.
The City of Albany contracts Jacobs OMI to operate the city's lift stations. OMI business manager Kyle Holder says Lift Station 25 houses the main line that flows along the Flint River. Right now, Holder says his crews are looking at other problems with the main line.
Currently, we've got a blockage in one of the discharge lines on pump number 1 that we're assessing right now to try to figure out how we can relieve that blockage.
Leaves and debris that gathered after a storm caused that blockage. I'm told that this is a combined sewer that holds sewage and storm waters. Crews plan to use a pressurized system to resolve the blockage.
We're going to try to air purge the line by injecting heavy pressures of air into that line and see if we can dislodge some of that material.
Holder says they hope to get that number 1 pump back online by the end of Sunday, and he says they do have plans to help clear out the area around the Ray Charles Plaza.
We eliminate this issue here at the station. We'll be coming back in and remediating that area. We'll be cleaning up that area, putting down new sod, and cleaning up that whole area.
Now from WALB News 10, this is an editorial and call to action from Vice President and General Manager Jim Wilcox.
Something stinks in downtown Albany, and it's not just the Flint River. Twice in the last 2 months, city equipment malfunctions have caused thousands of gallons of sewage and wastewater to spill into the Flint River. In addition to pump failures, the alarm system did not function, which is why they were so slow to respond to the equipment failure. The result is not only a terrible odor in the downtown area on the brink of revitalization, but the loss of a new business in the heart of downtown. City leaders have pointed the fingers at Jacobs, a company Albany taxpayers pay more than $1 million each year to maintain this equipment.
Those pumps were installed originally, I think, in 1996. So useful life is probably a very broad industry term, but I would say they're beyond they're probably past their useful life. They have been, we've done, we do ongoing preventative maintenance. I had our staff pull the maintenance records just for that pump station and the neighboring pump station, and it's 25,000 documents of documented maintenance, both correcting things and preventing things. But they have been rebuilt before, so that extends their useful life. But I would say that from a capital standpoint, each one of those pumps is $100,000 to $125,000. So the maintenance that goes into those is extensive, but at some point they do reach their useful life.
Blame also lies with the city, which neglected to inspect Jacobs' work and hold the company accountable for what's happened. We continue to ask these simple questions. How often are these pumps inspected? When were the pumps last inspected? How often was the alarm cable inspected? And when was the alarm cable last inspected? And when were commissioners notified the pumps installed in 1996 are well past their useful lifespan? If this sewage spill is beyond the city's control, why is it difficult to address these simple questions? $1 million is paid each year to this company, and we should expect excellent service and reporting. So there are more than 1 million reasons why this is a problem Albany can't afford. Once repairs are completed, city leaders need to cut ties with Jacobs, answer these inspection mistakes, and create a detailed plan to ensure our taxpayer dollars don't get flushed again.
If you would like to respond, please go to the Community tab and look for the WALB editorial page on our website at WALB.com or send a letter to this address.
At the time, we don't know exactly what caused it until we come in and troubleshoot and trace down the problem.
Although Kyle Holder with Jacobs says there's no way they could have predicted the spill, City Manager Sharon Subadan feels quite the opposite. After 3 sewage spills, the most recent dumping 195,000 of gallons of sewage water, Subadan has sent a letter pointing out why she feels Jacob isn't holding their end of the contract, saying, quote, 24/7 monitoring of the system is not adequately in place. Subadan said in the letter, in the most recent event, Jacobs' crew worked at the station and received false alarms as late as 5:30 p.m. No action was taken to ascertain the reason for the false alarms, nor was any action taken to test the system to ensure it would function properly. In an abundance of caution, a city staff member viewed telemetry at 9:24 p.m. and discovered that the lift station 22 was offline.
Approximately somewhere between 9 and 10 o'clock last night, we received the call that we were having a high wet well level here at lift station 22, which led to a spill.
But crews didn't make it out to fix the problem until midnight, 3 hours later. In the letter Subadan sent, she pointed out that every time there has been a spill, the city was the first to respond. Subadan demands in the letter that these measures are unacceptable and demands a written response as to what Jacobs will be doing to correct these problems. Should other potential threats occur, they expect a qualified rep from Jacobs to be there within 30 minutes.
People want information, and they deserve to know everything that we know and everything that the city knows.
Citizens poured into the Episcopal Church of St. John and St. Mark to voice their concerns and get answers.
Information and hopefully peace of mind, and maybe a plan of action.
Mark Mitchell and his family has lived on the Flint for nearly 20 years, and he wants answers.
We also want to know if it's safe for our grandchildren to swim in the water.
Opening up the forum, Executive Director Gordon Rogers focused on the topic of CSO, which is combined sewer overflow.
It's a big infrastructure problem that we all need to solve as a family.
Mitchell agrees and says he would like to see more leadership by the city in terms of fixing the infrastructure problem.
These are problems that we have been aware of for a long time, that our sewer system was overloaded and nothing has been done about it, and it's time. We need to do something.
Phil Roberson, Albany City Manager, was there and addressed questions from residents about how the city is working to fix the problem by trying to separate stormwater and sewage, as well as fixing the infrastructure problem they've had for years, but said it takes time. One main question was asked.
We want to know, is the water safe?
Rogers says they are testing the water quality weekly, and those results will be available for viewing. But right now it is safe. And as for the fish,
anything you cook at 375 degrees for 8 or 10 minutes, you can eat them.
Rogers says he is very pleased with the community input and hopes the city will continue to work at fixing these issues.
It's their river. It doesn't belong to Flint Riverkeeper. It belongs to everybody in the community, upstream and down, from Atlanta to Lake Seminole.
State officials say they want answers from the city of Albany when it comes to the recent sewage spills in the Flint River. The Georgia Department of Natural Resources served the city with a notice of violation letter.
We are going to ask them some questions. They will come with all the plans and when they are going to fix, what they are going to do, and when they are going to do it.
The letter states the city has 15 days within receiving the notice to contact the Environmental Protection Agency. The notice was received August 2nd. Then the two will set up a meeting to discuss what can be done to prevent any more spills. But officials say sending out a notice like this is actually fairly common.
But an NOV is kind of like a warning ticket. It's like you got pulled over and the officer's writing you a ticket, and he has a little conversation.
Gordon Rogers, the Flint Riverkeeper, says although this type of notice isn't unusual, it means the EPD has taken official notice of the amount of spills into the Flint.
So they've now put down their marker in the legal structure that helps protect our waters. And this is a good thing. They've said they're officially involved.
The letter also states that the EPD is concerned that the repairs the city have done so far have just been short-term repairs. The division wants the city to submit all of their reports and documents from the spills to create a long-term plan that will prevent these spills from continuing to happen.
I think that what the city is already working on with their engineering staff and the contract engineers at Jacobs, I think that report is exactly what this NOV is asking for.
Six sewage spills in 2018 and 4 since May. Lift Station 26 next to Albany State Campus dumped nearly 30,000 gallons of sewage into the Flint River Monday night.
When life gives you lemons, you make lemonades.
Poole and her family came to Turtle Park to try and enjoy some sunshine, despite the spills.
We rather come on the water than out there because of the sewage problem and stuff like that.
Their experience would be much more pleasant if they didn't have to worry about what is in the Flint River.
What if I want to jump inside the river, I don't want maneuver all on me and stuff like that.
Bird says he will continue to bring his 14-month-old daughter to the park, but would not let her play in the water. Poole believes that's the reason why Turtle Park isn't packed with people.
It's hot. Nobody doesn't want to smell in the process. Manure in the process.
Residents say they expect more from the city and hope this doesn't continue.
Just hope they come with some type of resolution or some type of, plan to try to get it up under control, you know, as far as in, you know, with the sewage spills and stuff like that.
Now from WALB News 10, this is an editorial and call to action from Vice President and General Manager Jim Wilcox.
The sewage keeps coming from the city of Albany. On Monday, another wastewater overflow at a city lift station has dumped nearly 30,000 gallons of sewage into our beautiful Flint River.
It's pretty much raw wastewater with some storm runoff in it as well. There were some rags and stuff that we cleaned up between here and the river.
This is the 6th time a sewage spill has happened in Albany this year and the 4th time in the last 3 months. It is inexcusable. Whether it's heavy rain or mechanical failures, both city leaders and wastewater manager Jacobs Environmental are to blame for the current state of the sewer problems and failing to proactively find preventative measures to resolve them. Unfortunately, their neglect could cost South Georgia the Flint River, one of our most prized natural resources.
What if I want to jump inside the river, you know? I don't want, you know, maneuver all on me and stuff like that.
Sorry, 4 strikes and you're out. Albany taxpayers don't need lip service and idle threats. We need city leaders to stop paying this company $1 million for their failures and use that money to start fixing and strengthening our city infrastructure here where it's needed the most. Otherwise, the future of Albany could go down the drain.
If you would like to respond, please go to the Community tab and look for the WALB editorial page on our website at WALB.com or send a letter to this address.
Four sewage spills in the last 4 months. The city of Albany has a continuous pump failure problem.
Technology that we're using for monitoring, for managing, really is dated technology that doesn't really give us all the information that we need.
A problem the city is working to solve.
These are opportunities for us to use newer technology or best practices, state-of-the-art technology.
The cost of the solution, $1.5 million.
These upgrades will give us the ability to be much more proactive than we have been.
City officials propose using the money to fix 10 lift stations that have been deemed critical lift stations.
And these are lift stations that either carry the most flow to our wastewater treatment plant and or the ones that are in closest proximity to the river or other waters of the state.
The city has already been paying the Jacobs Company over $1 million a year. But the last time the pumps were upgraded by the company was about 20 years ago.
So that means from the 90s to now, we paid $18 million to some company to monitor the lift station.
And the city is asking for answers.
You know, there are some people in the community who will know what's happening.
The Albany Utilities Board recommends city commissioners approve spending the $1.5 million to fix the station.
So the phase 2 will be coming back to you at a later date. And that will marry a funding plan to go along with it, and that will be how do we handle the remainder of the 108 and the plant.
Hundreds of thousands of gallons of spilled sewage.
Particularly in our community, people are very concerned about any sewer spills into the river.
After 4 months of numerous spills into the Flint River, the city of Albany has $1 million solution.
This $1.5 million is for our 10 major critical lift stations that handle the most of the water in town and have the most impact if something were to go wrong.
City commissioners wanted answers about past pump failures from Jacobs and sewage officials before agreeing to fund the repairs.
And when the spill that happened this summer, was it a time frame that he or she did not get there on time or what?
Jacobs Representative Kyle Holder admitted there was a delay in getting a representative out to the pumps after the spill in June, a problem he says the company is trying to rectify.
Have one person at all times so that they can monitor consistently around the clock.
Commissioners also requested monthly reports from Jacobs.
And also on the spending, how the spending of this $1.5 million is going, what's been spent, what remains, and a time frame there.
The funds will go towards repairing the lift stations, the first upgrades they've seen in about 20 years.
There are some sensors we're looking at putting in some upstream manholes that will allow, if there's a blockage between that low manhole and the lift station, that would allow us to see that the water is backing up there.
With the goal of preventing future spills.
And it's more information allows us to respond faster.
Over 1 million gallons of sewage spilled into the Percosin Canal, and this is not the first time the city of Albany is facing a sewage spill issue.
By me being a citizen of Albany, it's a disappointment because we do put our faith and tax money in, and to make sure stuff like this don't happen.
Jesse Brown has lived in Albany all of his life, even going through the floods of 1994, but he says he's never seen anything like the recent spills.
Honestly, I know years, decades after that, we didn't ever have a concern of the sewage the way it is now in 2018.
The 1.2 million gallon spill at Lift Station 81 was caused by power outages after the heavy rain over the weekend, something city leaders say they couldn't have predicted.
There's nothing that would have prevented what would happen.
But there have been several sewage spills since May, and now city leaders are facing million-dollar repairs to lift stations all over Albany. Now looking specifically at Lift Station 81.
It handles a good part of the west part of town where development is still occurring. And so we're trying to stay ahead of that and make sure we have sufficient capacity for any opportunities the city may have for growth.
As of right now, Brown says he and other residents just want working sanitary pumps.
Having faith that they would do it right the next time and they had an opportunity or whatever, or just do the city justice, that's all I say.